Ah, morning. No, there's no ads. What is this? Oh, where are you? Oh, yeah, didn't mean to do that. Let's go back. Let's do that. Let's go to this. It's one hell of a start, isn't it? There we go. All right. Again, morning, everyone. How y'all doing? Need to turn down the music on my side. I can't hear myself. Why is it on? Why isn't it active on this side? There we go. Probably just bump it up ever so slightly. There we go. Just double check everything. Seems fine. Boop-a-doo, doo-doo-doo. I got Photoshop. I got my little glove over here. Just a second. What about chat? Looks like it's a big mess. So sorry about that. That's 1 second. No, oh god damn it. I thought I muted. Sorry. All right. Focus. Focus. I'm starting to notice that my streams will forever be this mess of scuff and mistakes. So just gonna have to live with that. Yeah. So what happened? Some of you might have noticed that they might have gone like at least 2 messages out saying, "Hey, I'm going live." I think we maybe got that beaver again because nope, I removed that. All right, perfect. Oh, it's not the first. God damn it. Ah, damn it. It's just one thing after another, isn't it? Uh, can I do that? I can do that. Oh god. I could do that. 1 second. Do this. I was pretty sure I was dead on this time. Like I had everything going. All the titles, everything just set up perfectly. But no. Can't have that. Can't have a working stream. Can't. It's just no. Alright. Let's try this one more time. That looks fine. That looks fine. Photoshop, everything. All right. Try this again. It's like still early in the mornings with me, so my voice started to get warmed up. Might feel a bit raspy for now, but we'll get there. We'll get there. All right, so where did we leave off last time? Oh, my Wacom tablets. So we left off. I do believe honestly we ended last stream kind of abruptly, but we were talking about conspiracy theories, I think, which was a weird like pivot in that stream when we're actually trying to do some brainstorming for a horror game, and we ended up talking about pyramids and all kind of weird stuff. That was fun. Can I press the right buttons? Thank you. Appreciate it. Zoom out again. Mm. Oh, there we go. Let's adjust this a bit. Oh, all right. Here we go. How about that? Does that look? That looks great. Let's just make it a bit smaller. All right, I was about to update my mapping. Last time I was playing around with this, just the mapping of my Wacom tablet was terrible because I can't go all the way down, which sucks. And why is that? So what's going on? Monitor 2, sure. Force proportions, no. Full. How about that? No, it's still doing that weird thing. All right. So why are you doing that? You're not meant to do that. Why? It's fine all the way up there, but if I go to the bottom of my tablet, it's not fine. I'm not sure why. As you can see, I'm kind of, I can't go below this you can't see it, can you? No, I can't go below a certain level. I don't see a solution for it. Guess we'll have to do this time. I'm also going to bring up, at least on my side, where are you? Well, you are. So I did have a few hours to go through like some of the inspiration sources we've had or looked at, and I've think I've settled for two of them, and they are. Let me chat. By the way, it looks terrible. Should I just quickly just clear chat? There we go. Yeah, didn't help much, did it? So what I'm looking at is that I'm thinking Amnesia the Bunker, Visage, and Fears to Phantom. There's more, it's more, right? Yeah, Layers of Fear, Resident Evil Village. Mostly for the look itself and the atmosphere. Not much show the gameplay, at least not for the Village. It's not... I don't know. It's just not my style, I guess. Yeah. So let's see. Which means, and this doesn't mean that I dislike any of the other games, right? But for example, what is it with my voice? Sorry. Let's try that again. Yeah. No, so the other games are by no means bad games, or I don't like them because I didn't pick them as my reference, right? Or inspiration source. They just didn't contain that details or those details I like to see in whatever the game I'm making right now turns out to be. So I'm just going to do this. Let's add Village just in case. Alan Wake, let's remove that for now. Dead Space 2 action oriented for me. Amnesia games, of course, and that's going to be, let's do that. Let's do Bunker. I mean, the originals, sure, but for now, let's keep it to that. Alien Installation. Isolation. Great game. That's not really going to fit what I'm trying to do. I'm going to do that. Gigaland, I'm also going to remove that. I'm not going to like erase it because they could still be there for the future, right? So I'm going to keep that. Fears to Phantom, yes. Amnesia games, yes. Resident Evil. Layers of Fear isn't on this, but there are part of my documentation, so we should be fine. What else? Atmosphere, vulnerability, isolation, sure. Um, Vulnerability and isolation kind of goes hand in hand in the sense that there's no one who can help you while you're vulnerable. Let's just add that. Just a note. No help. Entropy. Let's keep it. It's kind of fun thing. What else? I need to have a task for this. Very important part. Looking up some proper sound effects. Infermigo, how you doing? Hello, welcome, welcome. Just having a nice morning of brainstorming horror games, or a horror game, I should say. Just trying to figure out my next project. So how you doing? Let's see, dungeons, castles, cabin. I mean, gas station, classics. Yeah, I'm doing good. Yes, it is morning. Oh, I lost my pen. It's like 6:15 in the morning for me. So if you might be able to tell on my voice and in general my scatterbrained brain right now. Yeah, you're noticing. I'm all over the place. So right, where are we? Oh, you moving to Germany? Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Good luck with that. Should be nice. Should be able to look forward to it, like going forward with the weather and everything. Yeah, I hope. Not sure why I said that. I mean, it's Germany. It's a good country. I think that me and my friends, a few friends, we were thinking of heading to Germany like over a weekend, like in March something. So when are you moving over there? I mean, details is all up to you, of course, but I'm curious. And why are you moving, by the way? Again, if you want to share, love to hear it. What else? Well, it's not going to be good though, so we can cross that over. It's going to be Unreal, and I'm assuming Unreal 5.7 or let's do that, add a plus, see what that gives us. Come on. That's not what I want. That's not what I want. You're learning C++. Nice, nice. Though you've graduated in CS and hopped between too many languages. Oh, I've been there. Yeah. I'm moving there for my master's. Oh, cool. Really cool. Which is going to be either in data science or computer science. Well, Germany would be perfect for that type of education, wouldn't it? I have a friend or a colleague. He's like one of those math geniuses. It's like, holy shit, listening to him is like listening to another world. And you've been, I have gotten accepted at TU Dortmund for data science. Really cool. Well done. Well done, you. Congratulations. So where are you moving from then in Firmigo? Are you like the Technical Universitat? Yeah. Are you moving from like a different continent or just different country? Oh, you're moving from Asia, Pakistan. Oh, nice. Well, I hope Europe and Germany in general will be a wonderful place for you. It's going to be a slightly different culture, I guess. Not even like maybe even a lot different, a big difference. Let's see. Uh, oh, by the way, one thing I know about Germany. This is a bit odd. Every country has like a quirk, right? Like a slightly odd habit. While here in Sweden, for example, we have surströmming, which is why. Like, what is it? It's a fermented herring, which has the worst smell of any food, edible food in the world, right? It's terrible, apparently. Never tried it, but people puke when they smell it. Either way, Germany has one thing, and I might mix it up with another country. I think it's Germany though, where you eat raw grounded beef, I believe, which makes no sense to me or rest of the world. Why would you do that, by the way? It's so weird. You got some family in down in Hamburg, and I'm used to their culture because my people have the blood of Greek and bits of German. All right. We come from the northern side of Pakistan. All right. Okay. Is it a common thing for Pakistan to have like the northern part of Pakistan to have like a mix of German or maybe mostly Greek blood? That's part of my knowledge base that is severely lacking. So mostly Greek or Persian. There they go. Okay. I'm trying to figure out like my geography, which is probably the worst part of my knowledge base, right? I have no like geography for me is I don't know. The fact that I can find home like every now and then is pretty amazing. How close is Pakistan to Greece? It would be very close, right? Otherwise, yeah, that would make sense in my head. You're often as what is it? Pakistan's. You're often told you're rude when you're straightforward. Yeah, I can see that being mixed up. If you're too straightforward, yeah, absolutely, I can see that being people like, you know what, you're being a bit too much right now. It's similar to how I would say the mix up of here in Sweden. You would say people often call us cold and non-social because it is just like a obstacle to get us to open up. It's a small one. We tend to be a bit more lean back and just like, you know what, we're at the bus station. Don't talk to me because I'm just waiting for the bus and to go to work. As far I know, they many Americans tend to point that out because they are more like, "Hey, I see a stranger, let's talk to them and just be jolly and loud." Sorry, Americans, you are kind of loud. Oh no, the pocket says just it peeps from your area. Oh, okay, okay. Your mother, on the other hand, loves Netherlands and the UK. She graduated from Netherlands, and that one wants to love with their trade system. Meanwhile, Germans be complaining about their 20 about theirs 24/7. I think the Germans has a different standard, right? You know the stereotype, like everything needs to be spot on, it needs to be in line, everything needs to work. Um, but from my experience, oh sorry, well I've never been to Germany, but my experience is that the Japanese has the best subway system, and it's amazing because it was never late. No, actually, I take that back. It was late once when I was over there, but I was like, all right, I'm 3 minutes late, so what? No, right. I was trying to figure out something. What was it? How about I do that? Oh, I forgot. I have my chat over on this side now, but I also have it on the Twitch web browser on this side. I should look on this side. Makes more sense. But now I'm looking at my game documents, and what is it I'm trying to figure out? Well, I guess I'm trying to just wake up right now. What is this game going to be? Let's hide these lines. It's going to be a first person cam. At least I know that. Non-action. I think I've mentioned this before. And by that, I mean it's not going to be guns and everything. No guns slash weapons. Pakistan is in close Greece. Oh, there you go. It's next to India, China, and Afghanistan, and Iran border base. Okay. Alexander the Great decided to cross our city. Oh, yeah, that guy. And then stayed for a tad bit. I feel like there's some maybe a bit of sarcasm or irony in that tad. He had some kids here, plus some of his army. Which, oh yeah, I mean that is very common in history, isn't it? The army tend to leave their mark on areas they go to, resulting in peeps having a great. Well, yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's the same story with Genghis Khan, right? What is that idea of the Europeans? We tend to have, what is it? 7% of our genetics is shared with Genghis Khan, or something like that. Like a huge part of our population has some of his blood in us, or the genes from that man. Uh, Weird stuff, but yeah, he was active during his days. And what else? So we want some moody atmosphere, right? Whoop, whoop, whoop. That is terrible. Moody atmosphere. And what does that mean? That means a focus on lighting. Yeah, hence why when you come to my city, even though majority of my cousins' average height is 165 to 170, the average here is, oh yeah, that's quite a leap going from 170 to up to 176, 180. That's pretty decent. And people here are so white. Okay, that just get confused if we're Pakistani or not. That would be confusing if you didn't know about that when you went there. It's like, wait, why is everyone not what would you call yourself? Would you say olive or not olive? Is it olive tanned? Is that the word? I believe that's used often to describe Mediterranean skin color, right? Brownish, wheatish. Oh, okay, wheatish. All right. At least you have like there's the yellowish, the more brownish colors in it. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I'm as white as it gets. I even think I have blue eyes. Or is it like bluish gray? I can't remember. And then when I was young, I had blonde color. And my hair was just super blonde. Now it's what my dad called rat color, which is thanks, Ed. A fun fact: if you come to my city, they would just think you are one of us. Really? Is it that white? Because I guarantee you can see my blood veins, and like I'm almost transparent. And it doesn't help the fact that I'm kind of an indoor gremlin. Rarely go outside more than, like when I need to, I go outside, but I do tend to love staying inside. So one thing I looked at yesterday was Layers of Fear. That game felt really good, and it was mostly indoors. So we're going to focus on indoor stuff. But what does that mean? I mean, there's a lot of indoor stuff, right? It's that white. One of my friends has hair like me. All right. Also, a face like yours. Well, he's a handsome guy then. Anyway, apologies for making this a geographical based conversation. No worries. Do not worry about that. The only thing I don't want to have in my chat is politics, religion, and comments about people's sexuality. That's more or less it. Just be respectful. Other than that, topic is welcome. What kind of horror game am I making? So, the big reason I have this thing in front of me, if I can press right buttons, is to figure that out, to be honest. I do have some ideas. I like the idea of what Amnesia brings to the table, which is you're not really this super powered guy who can shoot everything and can defend yourself against monsters. You're more like, I'm the average guy who just happens to have a light with me and I have to figure things out. That's kind of where I want to go. Not complete the Amnesia, but I was inspired yesterday by Amnesia the Bunker, which is you're in like I believe World War One, like a trench, a bunker, and I like the idea of having that lighting, the whatever you want to call it, the light that you had to interact with every now and then to keep it going. Do I prefer playing games on PC or console? Probably I would say PC. Yeah, no, definitely PC. I like the idea of console, but my life is just from my PC. I work at my PC. I do projects on my PC. So why leave the PC when everything's just right here, right? And it's more powerful than my console. Uh, I'm not even sure. No, I'm not even part of this previous generation. I have a Switch One, a Xbox One, and some few old DS, Nintendo DS stuff. So yeah, so if that answers your questions, yeah, I'm a PC guy. Though I would love to upgrade my PC, but I think the money isn't there right now. Oh, right, yeah. Ko-fi is like, how should you explain? Like, I would say it's more like, hey, if you want to donate, Ko-fi would be a way to do it. And I don't think they take any parts of that donation, while Twitch asks for like, I think it's 30% or something. Can't remember. No, it's 50-50, right? I might be like fumbling the numbers a bit. But Twitch subscription, of course, goes to my data. It will tell Twitch, hey, people like my stuff and stuff like that. So it's it has its ups and downs, both of them. But Ko-fi is just there to, hey, if you want to give me a coffee, please. But it's all voluntarily. I don't need the money. It would be nice with the money, but I don't need it. I have a professional. I work besides streaming, so I'm not low on cash and or anything like that. So it's all voluntarily. Or, voluntary. Do whatever you want. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm rambling. It's still early in the morning, and I need to wake up. I'm out of coffee. So maybe that's the thing. Or the fact that I've only consumed coffee this morning. Maybe that's an issue. Right, but yeah, that reminds me. Oh, thank you, Infermigo. You don't need to have to, but really appreciate that. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, what happened? Something disappeared. Um, Why did I sound Italian while saying? Don't know. I have no idea. Italia. Is that how you sound like Italian? I know. I'm not going to try to do voices. I had a friend, a colleague at my work. She tried to have me do um, a few voices, and oh god, she laughed at me because I was apparently the worst at it. She asked me to do like an Austrian accent and Italian, I guess. I can't remember all of them, but she said all of them sounds the same. You tried three different voices and they all sound the same. So maybe that's the thing. I tend to mix too many language or accents and just becomes one big terrible mess. I don't know. We do have some ads starting soon, so I'm gonna grab some coffee while that happens, but we still have a bit left. So let's see. PC. Can I not? I can't. There we go. Platform. PC. Dude, thank you so very much for me. Really, that's so sweet of you. Thank you. You're the man. What else? I'm sure Ghost and Olivia would appreciate that very much. What else do we have? Uh, let's do interactables. No, let's call them tools. Tools. That's terrible. Come on. There we go. Tools slash mechanics. Um, you got me? Yeah, thank you, dude. Really appreciate that. Um, do you have any favorite games, by the way, Infermigo. Do you have any games? Can I call you Infer? Sure. Is it easier? All right, we got ads. Give that a think, and I'll be back in like 20 seconds. My ads are not working. Why not? Why isn't my ads working? God damn it. There we go. Yeah, my setup is all messed up. Sorry, I'll be right back. All right. There we go. All right. I'm not sure why my everything's just broken. I'm not sure why. I was trying to launch go live earlier. It went to, hey, we're live. Here's the countdown, and 10 seconds later, it just went to the end screen and tried to shut down my stream. It's like, what is going on? Streamerbot, what are you doing? So I'm going to remove that, or at least look at it, see if I can make it work. But for now, I'm just going to keep it simple. There we go. Ads are done. Now I need to manually go to filters, have it go out like that. There we go. That's going to be fun. Manual stuff. You're all right. You're fine with the nickname. Awesome. Some of your favorite games. Red Dead. Awesome. Apex. CS. All right. Right. Good old COD or Battlefield. So where are you at on that topic, though? Are you a COD gamer or a Battlefield? It feels like everyone has picked a side between those two games. And with Battlefield 6, it seems like that entire thing has been even, I don't know, it's just worse. Everything, the competition between those two IPs is even worse than before. In a good way, I guess. Competition, we need that. Let's see. Tools mechanic. I like the idea of having some type of light source, right? Light source. Can't spell. Which you need to. What would you say? How would you say? What's a proper word? Keep it going. Keep it lit. Let's just do that. Keep it lit. Keep it lit. Play more COD, but these days you prefer Battlefield. Old COD Black Ops 2 days were peak. You have heard that the Black Ops part, the IP of COD, were better, like in the back in the days. So is it? Are you preferring Battlefield 6 now than whatever Call of Duty is offering right now? Oh, that's a text. Nice. Is it wrong of me to start with C++, considering that you have a good amount of experience? I'm genuinely interested in how computers work, since I've hopped between too many languages. NetMS is one. A lot of people say C++ isn't a good first language, but I beg to differ because it just makes it easy to understand things through though complex. But if you learn it, moving another language is easier. You're also interested in learning about machine learning libraries and algorithms. I mean, that's an ongoing debate, right? What is the best language to learn? I'd say it's individual. Like it depends on your background. Um, if things like allocating memory and that technical aspect comes easy to you, and I'm assuming it does, considering you're going for like a engineering or really complicated education, right? So you have probably some experience before. I mean, they've accepted you and everything, so you have some experience before. I'd say C++ is probably a good language then, as long as you're aware of the initial stages of C++. Is more difficult than, for example, Python. But if you have the experience that like you have, I'd say C++ will be a good language to learn. Absolutely. And I can't really give you any other language that would be better to learn. I mean, Java and Python will probably be easier if you're more of a beginner with very little to any experience in technical stuff. Then I'd say C++, is probably a good step. Yeah, and also to be clear, my background, I have a similar background like you, not educational wise, but coding wise. I've moved between languages, and C++ is the only one that I've kind of stuck to. Although I'm by no means a expert in it, I'm still very much so a beginner. Though I'm going for master in data science, yeah, in which Python is more dominant. I didn't know that. But you want to start with C++ just to ensure I have a proper foundation. That's fair. Moving to Python afterwards will be a bit better after. Thinking of starting Python kind of gives me icks. Then even better reason not to do it, right? And nothing wrong with Python, but it tends to be abstract a lot. Yeah. I mean, you need to take into consideration what you like to do, right? If C++ may be difficult but fun to learn, then why not go for it? I mean, that sounds like the best reason to do it. None of these languages will be a disadvantage to know. It will be just be like advantageous for you to know them, right? Um, if you're considering whether or not it's good for you professionally, you might want to do some further investigations. But if Python is the more prevalent language in the areas you're going to work in, then maybe you want to go for that. But if you have more fun learning C++, then I'd go for that. You said on Reddit, and I got bashed for saying that as if I committed a crime. Hey, Reddit, that's the first clue. And also on the internet, come on, internet is one of those places that you'll find someone who gives you a balanced and well-educated answer, and then you'll have the idiots, and then you'll have the gatekeepers, and all in between. It is what it is, right? So if someone gives you a poor like argument, then just ignore it, and especially Reddit. Rarely have I seen Reddit being reasonable. Maybe logical at sometimes, maybe factually correct, but rarely it's given to you in a reasonable manner. So yeah, I'll take that with a grain of salt. I need to remove that part. There we go. Indoor lighting, tools, light source, keep it lit, which is the main mechanic. What else? I mean, I'm thinking based on my experience, what I can do. I think something just purely atmospheric is probably the best. I mean, you do have pickup stuff, simple, basic stuff. But I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Amnesia does that using some kind of physics. I can't spell. Amnesia. Let's do physics within quotations. That's not quotations. That's terrible. There you go. Why is it doing that? It's not a bad first language to start with. If you have a grit for wanting to get into more technical, yeah, I agree. All the rusters and Pythoneers, never heard that before. Love it. Running to slam my post was a fun sight, not gonna lie. Yeah. I mean, if you've said, hey, Python is the best language, you will probably have people from C++ camp and Rust go to defending their language. I know what it is. It feels like people just have to defend their language as if defending their decision to use that language. I don't know why. Just live with it. You picked the language. You don't have to bash anyone else for their choice because it makes no sense. It does feel like a lot of the arguments on the internet and Reddit is more like, hey, I've invested a ton of time into this thing, whether it was right or wrong. I don't want to listen to you because you are opening a can of worms in my head or some um, insecurities in my head. And now I'm questioning whether or not it was the right decision. Well, it probably was. If you like what you're doing, if it helps you and you progress in making projects and you're professional, then why bother. Just enjoy the fact that you've made progress. But either way, I'd say C++, Python, Java, whatever you pick, as long as it suits you. Yeah, I'd say you're fine. Can understand that? Yeah, there you go. I'm such a learned man. I'm almost 40, by the way, so yeah. I need to learn at least something needs to stuck in my mind. Some people just don't understand. Yeah, exactly. And some people don't want to understand. They're in denial. I'm pretty sure that if you had the opportunity and you were able to collect some data saying, hey, this is the amount of people actually understood your argument, and then you have people who just didn't, I'd argue that the one that actually understood what you're saying was so much bigger than the other one, but they're just ignorant. They just don't want to like acknowledge what you're saying. You're getting old. You're 26. Come on, dude. You're like 12 years my junior. You're not getting old. You're in your best days. Well, I actually, I kind of take that back. 26, sure. Like your body, you'll absolutely the best years of your life. But like mentally, I'm more stable and happier now than I was when I was 26. Since you're moving to Germany, I am going to visit Sweden for sure. There you go. Any suggestions? Oh, suggestions for Sweden. So the nearest city would likely be Malmö, which is the southernmost city in Sweden, at least size the biggest city in South Sweden. I highly recommend visiting that place, but I think Gothenburg, where I'm from, or Stockholm. It might sound like a cop out going for the big cities, but they are the best connection with Germany. You could go through Denmark with a car and then into Sweden if you want to. That is something you could do. Like it would probably take you 2-3 days to do like a full trip back and forth with staying around and just having some fun, of course. Like the driving, I'd say back and forth probably like 16 hours or something like that. But if you want to stay in Denmark, in Frederikshavn or in Copenhagen, highly recommend. Copenhagen is a beautiful city, by the way. Oh, your ex was from Stockholm? There you go. So you have some connections then with Sweden. Well, kind of. Stockholm is nice though. As a city, don't let the idea of your ex being from Stockholm like stop you from going to Stockholm because it's a beautiful city. But yeah, Gothenburg is a hidden gem. I don't think enough people know about Gothenburg. Highly recommend. What else? I mean, if you like the idea of seeing landscape, like just countryside, driving through the southern part of Sweden, I'd recommend that part. Uh, you have the oldest university in Sweden, in Lund, which is southern part of Sweden, like near Malmö. I can recommend that. Good time for sure. There you go. That's the right like mindset. So, why is it that I picked Layers of Fear, by the way? How about story beats? Some of them. Oh, don't worry about it and have fun at the event. What time? I'm streaming at 6 a.m. my time, so that will be Central European time. So I've been streaming for like 45 minutes now. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That is my goal, at least. I've just started the schedule, so we'll see what happens in the future. But I feel like it's working, so it's gonna be Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6 a.m. And 4 hours behind you, which means that then you can tell me what's gonna happen in the future, right? Isn't that how it works? You're like 4 hours ahead, so you know when I end my stream, and you know everything that's going to happen, right? Well, either way, dude, really appreciate the cash flow. Really appreciate that, and of course, have a good day, and whatever you're doing with your event, have a nice day. All right, I will try my best to hop. I appreciate that. Oh, you got insomnia. That sucks. Hope that works out. I got you. You're about to one of the best toys in the industry, dude. That's a lot of pressure. I'll give it my best shot. Thank you. The best in the industry, piling on the pressure. All right. So I wrote down layers of fear. I like the idea of it is a it is in a mansion, isn't it? It's no best shot. It's only greatness. You got this. Thank you. Yeah. See you around, in Federico. It was nice seeing you. Have a good day. All right. So brainstorming is meant to be easy or liberating, right? I'm stuck. I don't like that. So how about we look at a few other things? So a few things that I think I'd like to see more of, or at least settings wise. Um, how about we do this? Let's remove a few things I don't like the idea of, or doesn't really motivate me. I don't think a diner, a gas station. I think a castle would be, maybe castle could be something. Dungeons, maybe we could combine those with a mansion idea. Sewers, I mean, we could technically combine all of these four, like in scenarios. It would be mainly, well, actually, castle and mansion would go hand in hand, would it? No. It would be weird, wouldn't it? If you started out in a mansion, end up in the castle, would it? Maybe. Lab. I mean, technically, a lab could be. It's more of a sub theme or sub setting. You could make it your primary, of course, but it could be, hey, there is a lab in the mansion or in the castle in the dungeon. Looking at this, all of these could be combined like this, couldn't they? Hmm. And of course, I do like the idea of sanity. I've had that. That was a big part of my previous idea too. Um, hmm. Oh, dude. God damn it. God damn it. Oh. Sorry, sorry, dude. I thought I had the YouTube chat set up. Really sorry for missing you. If you're there now, how you doing? Didn't I fix that? I didn't. Of course I didn't. I did save the URL for the chat, for the YouTube chat. God damn. Let's try that again then. Let's fix it up. I was wondering why nothing was happening on YouTube side. It's like, and then I read, oh, chat is disabled. God damn it. Not chat is disabled, but the chat is disabled. Okay, let's try this again. Let's go to custom browser docs. Pasting the URL. And there we go. Now I can see you all. All right. YouTube, please. I ask you, YouTube. I don't have much to complain about when it comes to YouTube's live stream stuff. But can we make it so that I don't have to like assign a custom URL each time to my chat? I've gotten that so many times. It has happens at least like 5 to half a dozen times. That is 6. Either way. So please, YouTube, if you see this, if you any feedback, please fix that part. That's all I ask for now. I'll definitely ask for more later on. So yeah, let's try again later on. Okay, let's do some, just see if we can get the brain to go to like just work a bit. Uh, yep, that stopped right away. Where are we going with this? God, I love this song. If I could, if my voice wasn't like, if I wasn't tone deaf, I would sing by now. I might see my mouth every now and then start moving along with the song. That reminds me, let's try this song or this band. Highly recommend these Viking metal guys. Amon Amarth. It's a Swedish band. Let's see. Pursuit of Vikings. I love that song. It's almost the most played. The Twilight of the Thunder Gods. That's the one. Let's just make that the next. Do this. Let's go to audio because I need to turn up the volume ever so slightly on my side. There we go. Back to stream. Awesome. How broken is my system, by the way? I'm just going to try something. Oh, it's that broken. Awesome. Hmm. So the idea of having a first-person camera with a tool, unless I'm inspired by Amnesia in this case, or the Bunker game. Amnesia the Bunker. Yes. Where you had a light source, you had to crank it. That's actually the word I was looking for. Let's write that down. Crank. Right. And if you're outside or not in light, you'll drop sanity. In darkness, drop insanity. Because what I'm imagining happening is that you will be in an area of complete darkness, only your hand cranked light source, right? And there will be times where you forgot to keep it up, like keep the light going. You'll end up in darkness. You'll hopefully ever so slightly panic a bit, try to turn on the light, and while you're doing that, you're in the darkness, and that darkness will then decrease your sanity. I do like that idea. What else? What else do we need? We need some kind of storyline, I guess. What is the storyline? Storyline. What are we talking about? You know, let's do this. I'm just gonna do that. Let's select this entire thing. So what are the story beats? The story we can talk because I mean you have, let's see if we can spell it, scientist. That's probably wrong. But we do have this. That could be connected to madness. Classic. Oop, that's the terrible circle. What else? We do have hauntings. Not sure why it added that line, but it did. I mean, I guess we can add that to supernatural stuff. I have one inspiration source that's not on the internet, and it's this book. I haven't read it yet, but I just fell in love with the art. It's a Lovecraftian book, not from official Lovecraft, but it's in his universe, and some of these images is absolutely stunning. It's like this noir type of feeling. That's terrible. You can't really see it. I will have a hand cam at some point, so I might just use that to show you all these really lovely like pictures. I think that could be a good inspiration source having these things. So the book is called, might not be famous. It's like a picture with every like if there's a story in it. It's just mostly pictures. The Doom Witch Horror, Lovecraft slash Barringer. Like just the front, right? I can turn this off. There you go. Really cool. I'm gonna use that as an inspiration source. It might be too complicated art style, but at the same time, I do have like a lot of time to make this project. I can spend years on it if I want to. What else do we have? I mean, I'm not the idea of a storyline with. I know that self harm and things like that is very common in a lot of horror games. I'm not a super big fan of it. I prefer maybe not happy. Happy will be that's not the right word. Less depressing storyline, if that makes sense. It doesn't have to be like this heavy, depressing background for characters. It could be any character ending up in a situation where they're well hunted or they're trapped, they're claustrophobic. It's just if that makes sense. Scientist madness, hauntings. Something that the Layers of Fear game had was you were an artist and family man. So an artist, of course, a parent, parents. So family. I guess we can just write this down. Family. So the thing about this type of brainstorming, any type of brainstorming, is not never just like stop and say, "Hey, we can't have that." No, just write it down. Just to make sure I know which one's what. Let's do that. I'm gonna skip this song, by the way. I'm not in the mood for it. All right, I can do that, right? I can. So artist, parent, family. What else? What else can we add to this? I mean, if you want to be, we can do some modern workplace. We can do the workplace. That's more of setting, I guess, but we can add that. So there can be some hauntings at your workplace, some supernatural stuff. There was this an old game, a Swedish game, where they were actually in my old school, which was kind of weird. And you were alone as a student in the dark. Well, in the dark, you were like alone at school late at night. And things started to happen, of course. So what else? I mean, you could go for some spelunking. That's not a terrifying word, but it is a that will be cave diving, I guess. Cave diving. One game I have, which I really like to do, or at least a setting, and that is a toy store, an old toy store, like not Toys R Us and everything like that, but an old 1800s, 18th century, or maybe 19th by now, century toy store. Like those toys are so uncanny, right? Maybe I should go for that. Maybe I should go for. It's just the problem with that idea is the amount of assets I need to do to make that work. But at the same time, I'm so in love with the idea of someone walking around this toy store and you're surrounded by these weird toys. I mean, let's see if we can't find an image of it because there are some really weird stuff. Uncanny old toys. Yeah, yeah, yeah. These things. God damn. Let's see. And I need to do that, right? Yes, yes. I'm getting a hang of it. I'm getting back to it. I mean, some of these are not that uncanny. I mean, yeah. What is that? The Brat, or is it? I don't know. An X-Men, of course. That's just cool, of course. But then you have these things. Like, what the hell? Look at that thing. Imagine walking around in the dark and you're surrounded by these types of things. I'm not sure what that is. What the hell? That is. That has to be fake. It can't be that. It can't have that type of toy. But then you have these things, or this thing. That actually looks like eyes, like someone's actually behind that, like a mask. That is creepy. And this one has to be fake. I feel like this is actually a video game. Why do we find dolls so creepy? Well, why? Look at them. God damn. This has to be fake, right? But this thing, that is so uncanny. All right, so I think you see my point. I think toys could be the way to go. It's just the amount of work. The amount of work. But then again, hmm, and what should be the story if you go to, like, why are we at this potential toy store? Why there? Like, why? Why there? Come on. One reason is, of course, you are the clerk, the owner, the one who creates these toys. You could be the maker, right? Which could be the why you're there. Why you're there because you're the maker, right? What else? I mean, you could be a lost kid, I guess. Lost child. What else? Why are you there? Investigator. Like, this store has been abandoned for a long time, and people start talking about it. Uh, it's haunted or whatever. So okay, sure. Investigator. Think that is how it's spelled. Um, you also have, rather than an investigator, what do you call them? The ghost hunters. Well, that is, I'd say that fall into a category of investigator. I am still leaning towards this. There's something about it. Okay. So if we go with the idea of a toy store, if we lean more into that, then what are we talking about when it comes to what type of events, mechanics, story bites? No, that's not right. But story chapters are we looking at? So let's do this. I'm just gonna make this a greenish color. Let's do a toy store. I mean, you definitely have haunted dolls, right? I mean, not much of this makes sense so far, but we're getting there. We're kind of slowly breaking everything down. Eyes following you could be something. Eyes follows. What else could happen? I mean, poltergeist. You have ghosts and poltergeists. They can do stuff. Flying toys thrown at you. What else do we have? Uh, spelling. Let's see. Thrown toys. What century though? Do we want to be in the modern century, like people visiting this place, but the toy store itself is from like the early, what is it? Is it 19th century? The 19th century will be between 1800 to 1899, right? That will be the 19th, because the first century is 0 to 199. So the second century would be 100 to 199, right? So 1800 to 1899 will be the 19th century. So if we go with the 19th as a theme, but maybe not where it takes place. No, I do like the idea of it being all in the 19th century. But do I want to be an abandoned toy store? I kind of like that idea too. How do you spell abandoned? Is it two N's? B-N, abandoned. It doesn't matter. Let's do that. That's not correct, but I know what it says. That's all that matters. Ba-ba-do-do-do. All right. So abandoned toy store. And let's just do this. Count right. Let's do takes place. Wow, that's terrible. Oh, we got some ads. Not sure why it's not working. Why is everything seems broken? That's unfortunate. Let's do this. I'm going to grab this image. and just copy paste it in here. Can I do that? I can. But I can't press the right buttons. There we go. There we go. That's fine. I mean, warping rooms could be something, right? I'm just going to add a quick... There we go. So what is the story beats? All right. Twitch should be back. So manually fix that. God damn. See if I have the time after this stream to fix the broken stuff. Dolls. What else? I mean, I like the idea of having... So how would you do this? It would have a line of shelves like this. See if that makes sense. Ooh, terrible. How about this? There you go. Ooh, that's terrible. And on these shelves, you would have toys, right? And you would have to walk through this thing. Maybe there's a light source above you like this. Some are broken, some are not. You would have old planks, wooden planks down the line. At the end, you can either walk this way or maybe this way. There's some potential to it. There's some potential. And you could have like a story. The house could be multiple stories, right? First, second house. I'm an artist, by the way. I like a stick figure for houses. Yeah. I think we can kind of lock that in for now as this will be a story with the setting of an old toy store. I have to figure out the amount of assets later on. We do have dungeons, sewers, graveyards, things like that. Technically, we could still have like a dungeon part of this thing. But maybe it's more like a... What's the word? What's your word for a area underneath the ground? Part of a house. It's not the attic. That's the opposite. This is downwards. The word is escaping me right now. Basement. Basement, that's the word. That's the word we're looking for. So let's just add basement. Does the Lovecraftian universe have poltergeists and things like that? I've never really dug deep into that universe before. Maybe I should do that. It's probably some cool stuff, right? Toys to Maker, Lost Child. Eyes follows. What else can we do? What else could be creepy? Of course, like dolls just turning up, right? Um, how would you call that? You would call it uh, spawning dolls. Let's go with that. Spawning dolls. I mean, imagine that thing. Like, honestly, how the hell did they get it to this? That eye is definitely feel like it's separate. It's not like what I'm used to, what dolls would look like, right? So this idea, I like that. I'm just looking at the modeling part, and it's just, oh, that's gonna take a while. But hey, we're having fun. What else? Yeah, once I'm done with this, I'm gonna spend the entire weekend, a large part of it at least, trying to summarize everything so we can get into the fun part of actually making the game. Let's do something else for a little while. We're gonna still brainstorm, but let's brainstorm something else. It's still gonna be part of the project, right? But what if we start looking at the MVP, which is the minimal viable product, right? Like a demo. Movement, of course, is one thing. Movement. And in this case, the primary movement will be walking. And pretty much nothing else. Do we want running? That's the question. Do we want the ability to run? Let's add a question mark to that one. That's the worst circle ever. Do we want some running? I like the idea that you can't really get any running part. Like you can't run. Not sure why. What's the story beat for that? But the idea of one pillar is vulnerability, and if you can't run, you're more vulnerable. But I do believe can you run in Amnesia games? You can, right? You can run in those games. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. You have not crawl but crouching. Don't you? Let's add that. Let's just do that. Crouch. That is the worst crouch I've ever seen, but hey, it's something. So movement, crouch. So interactables. What would that be? What time is it, by the way? I need to keep track of that because I do have work later on. One is, of course, the ability to pick up things. Why is my use turning out to be such a weird thing? Pickups. What else do we have? I guess push would be something. Um, I think that is it for now. Like be able to pick up stuff and push stuff. I think that could be more than enough for an MVP. We're not probably not going to have all of these things. Like in the end, an MVP might just be the walking part. We don't need crouch or running. It depends, though. It really depends. Like all of these things will eventually lead to something. Hopefully, that's the goal at least. What else do we need from an MVP? We need an environment. Let's just call it in Maron dot. So we need a level. I guess that you could call a level or map. And it needs to be can't be too big. It needs to prove it's a proof of concept, right? Uh, what else does an MVP need? I mean, something that scares you, right? So creatures, events. Let's call it events. Let's see. Can I get some inspiration from this? My document next to me here. Madness progression, document through notes. Yes. Story beats would be not something, right? Nope. Does that show up, by the way? No. Apparently, oh, I can draw by doing that. That's weird. Holding down one of the buttons and I can draw. Um, I don't know. I feel like nothing else comes to mind. So what else can we do? Well, I do need to figure out the tasks. What I need to do for now. The first one I need to do is like summarize everything. How the hell do you spell summarize? Summer. Without a computer to help me, I'm terrible at spelling. Apparently, I should realize that I was terrible back in school, so I'm terrible now. We need to update the GDD. There we go. I think we need to go for a reference collection spree. So let's do collect riffs, right? Let's slowly build a world. Abandoned story. Spawning dolls. What's the name? Is it the angels from Doctor Who? I like that idea. It's been done before. It's like a trope by now. But I kind of like the idea of the angels from Doctor Who. Doctor Who angels. Right? That's what spell angels. You also have angles. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how you spell it. So you would have, you're looking at one spot and all of a sudden you turn around, the dolls are closer or just there. One of them. One of them. Haunted dolls, spawning dolls. I mean, these are more or less the same. Yeah. What else? Storyline, toy store, scientist. No, madness, no. I mean, technically, you will be an artist, right? It's just that you're creating dolls or toys. How about this? Do you want to have family and parent stuff? I like the idea of you being an old artist. And somehow your life of as an artist led you down the road of being alone. Uh, You focus too much on your art, right? Scientist, no, we're not going to go with scientist. Madness, we might have madness. Might, right? Haunting, of course. Supernatural, yes. Workplace, I mean, technically it is the workplace. So let's do that. Family. What if the story is that you're an old carpenter, old toy maker, and you don't have a family because you focus so much on your art, or for some reason, for some other reason, you don't have, you haven't created your own family. You're alone. And now your toys, in a twisted, weird way, is trying to make up for that. They came come to life with the idea of, hey, let's be a family. We know you're alone. Um, to that there we go. Two toys. So they see you as their parent, or they want to, again, twistedly, in twisted way, give you that family you didn't have. How would you communicate that without actual voice actors? I mean, I might want to invest in voice actors eventually, but again, now we're talking like the big money. How much do you need to pay a voice actor for, like, I don't know, 20 lines? I don't know. But how about we do this? Let's do VA. Um, what else do we? I mean, I need animation, right? Let's do this. What should I call it? Um, this is terrible naming, but let's call it disciplines. Disciplines. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Disciplines. We need animation. SFX. Hopefully, I can get away with SFX somehow. VA, perhaps. What do? I mean, it would be nice to have all these things, right? I can deal with the environment. I might need a coder. Might. Likely, right? I could do quite a bit myself, and it might be fun to just look at how far can I push myself in that regards. That was terrible. It's going to be a lot more than this. I might even need a second environment artist or artist in general. Animator, animation, sci-fi, yeah. So we're kind of at this stage right now that I'm thinking toy store, you have abandonedness, or an alone artist. Hasn't necessarily been abandoned by anyone, but he is isolated. His craft, his work of art, the toys, are somehow haunting him. But from their perspective, they're doing it because of some twisted respect or love for their creator. I kind of like that storyline. Not sure how to progress with it though. So let's just write that down. Twisted love for their creator. That's not how you spell creator. There we go. And this takes this entire storyline takes place in the 19th century. I'm gonna have to look it up just to confirm because I want those awkward or rather uncanny dolls and toys. And also we can kind of use the fact that electricity light source was very different back in those days. You didn't have a light bulb or the modern lights, right? The more I think of it, the more the idea of this kind of, yeah, I kind of like it. But again, I need to figure out which is going to be part of like the process, right? The idea of what's going to happen, the various chapters. And I'm not sure. That's where I'm kind of the big obstacle right now. How would you go about doing that? Would you usually perhaps write everything down as a small short story with all the beats, like every chapter showing you, hey, we want to do this. This is probably the best progression for this. Um, or should I kind of make it up as I go along? It's probably not the best. Might be the easiest, or maybe more fun because I could just get into it, right? No, I think I need it like a block out version of the world, which kind of reminds me. Or is it this part we need to write down? Blockouts. Hmm. I'm not sure where to go from here. I feel kind of doing this brainstorming might have reached not the end, but at least a point where it can't really progress. I should probably start writing these things down. That's my big weakness. Uh, how would I go about progressing this thing? I could check my documents. It's so far from being done. I guess we could start collecting references. That might help a bit. This is inspiration. Yep. Let's see if we can get that going. All right. So off with the glove. Like actually, not figuratively. Figuratively. Ah, that word. Right. And you need to see what I see. So I'm gonna do that. So I mean, of course, the this thing, whatever that is, we need that. And the best way to go about this. Can I do that? Uh, I'm just gonna throw it in. Oh, that's a web P file. I don't want that. How about we do this? I'm just gonna grab it like so. What else? I mean, of course, we need this. What else? Now, these are uncanny dolls. That thing. What the hell is that? Ooh, this thing. Yeah. Let's grab that. What's this? What the hell? Sure. We're gonna grab that too. So let's focus on dolls for now. The aesthetics back then. Well, maybe this isn't that far back. I don't know. I mean, these are way too new, right? Feels more like 1980s, 1990s. Ooh, this thing. Yeah, let's go with that. What is that? All right. Creepy dolls. This is a classic. So many people. I think many people have seen this thing before. So what else? What is that? I like the atmosphere from this image. Maybe that should be the main like color scheme, the desaturation, the values, everything's there, kinda. Let's do that. Let's grab it. What else? What else? What's this? that that has to be a joke. No, maybe not. What is that? Seems like it's been burnt, dude. Will I get in trouble for some of these things? Like, what is this? Is that Napoleon or something? I don't know. Look at this. I can't be the only one who feels like this is so uncanny and creepy, right? I'm just gonna move away my Wacom tablet to the side. This. Oh, I saw this thing. Is that like Barbie, like pregnant Barbie or something like that? I need to check this article out. Yes. Well, can I? Come on. Don't want to be part of this. Confirm. All right. This is the 80s. Ooh, look at that. Man-made man of 1,000 faces. Dude. What the? All right. No, this is almost too creepy, if that makes sense. It's the uncanniness isn't, I mean, yes, it's uncanny. Yes, it's creepy. I would not give this to a child, right? But it's too much. Does that make sense? The other toys we looked at, they were more trying to be cuddly and cute, but they came off as just creepy. This thing feels like, yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make something creepy. It's weird though. Oh, what the? No. Is this true? I don't know. This is not creepy. It doesn't hit the uncanny valley. It's weird, yes. But the thing about uncanny valley, it's that you have this obvious line of, yeah, I know, weird, 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 and it's getting closer and closer to like human-esque look, and then you have a dip, and then it'll go back up again. So at this point up here, this is where we feel like, you know what? This looks like a human. I don't feel anything weird when I look at it, or if it looks like what we expect it to look like. And kind of the same over here. This area is usually for like more like a stylized art. You can still feel like, you know what I'm looking at feels nice. It still looks pleasant. Like the human face. I can see it's a human, but it doesn't feel weird. But then you have the uncanny valley. That's down here. That is a dip before you go back to the realism part again. So instead of having that straight line, you will have, all right, All right, now it's starting to look weird. No, all right, it's weird. It's really weird. Less weird. All right, we're back to the it looks proper again. So that is the uncanny valley. So this thing, it's part of that first initial climb. It's hasn't been. It's not part of the uncanny valley. Same with this. I would say this is uncanny valley. It's weird, but not uncanny valley. Again, weird. This is ooh, weird, but this is more creepy. Imagine this thing walking up to you with that face, saying, "Hey, Dad, I love you." All right, I'm gonna grab that one. But it's yes, I'm gonna grab it, mostly because of the face. But we can make it into like a nutcracker or something like that. Bunny braids. I again, we've seen some weirder stuff than this. It's weird. I'm repeating myself, but it is weird, but it's not that weird. Like it's not the uncanny stuff. Again, it's just weird. It is though. Like the fluffiness of that vest and clothes. And this guy was like, I saw something. You shouldn't have done that. I don't know. All right, there's some inspiration. All right. And this is probably something that enter that's either in the uncanny valley, like deep down, or just start to enter the uncanny valley. It's almost like, I have this really nice artistic stylized doll, which people feel like, yeah, this is pleasant enough. It looks like human. Yeah. So let's make it more realistic. And they made that. Then just dip down into the uncanny. Yeah, this is also, I know this is from is this the Polar Express? It looks like the Polar Express. But you can tell it is human. But there's something about it that just doesn't feel right. Same with this. Where is this from? Oddly terrifying. Yeah, I don't know. What else do we have? What is that? The monsters are Uncanny Valley Explore animation. Look at this, though. It has to be very early 3D stuff. That is pretty cool. Can I? This feels AI, doesn't it? And again, no, we didn't meant to do that. Uncanny Valley? No. I don't think this is Uncanny Valley for me. Weird, scary, creepy, sure. Uncanny? No, that's not what I would say call uncanny. Well, let's see. I'm just gonna grab this. I like the idea of the pattern of broken toys. Uh, let's see what else. What is that? Wait, what? What is this? Is that a Jack in the Box? Yeah, Jack in the Box. What am I looking at though? The face, of course, but what is this part? Is that meant to be an arm? No. All right. I need that. Okay. Oh, dude, look at these. God damn. Yeah, I'm gonna grab that. Of course, we're gonna have to grab this because if this is an artist's workspace, this is probably gonna be a part of it, right? You're gonna have a bench of doll faces, or maybe even a room full of it. And it could be progression based. You can have like something kind of Pinocchio-esque where you have someone who's trying to make a live doll and they had this progression of bad, poorly made stuff to a lot more realistic. All right. Kind of like that idea. Uh, This thing is something. Why is this here? And I googled uncanny. This is not uncanny. Vintage, probably, but weird? No, is it? Anyone else feels like this is not a weird toy. This is just a fluffy dinosaur, right? Oh, look at that. Oh, I like that. This could also be part of that doll thing. Like it's a progression. It's on this mounted thing because he was working on it. I like that. What is this? It has to be fake. It has to be fake. 42 Creepy Crazy by Rosenberg. Yeah, that's fake. Um, how about old toy store? That's gonna be more difficult to find, I think. That is, yeah, AI, AI. God damn it. The worst thing is, there's something about it that kind of hits the right creepiness. I don't like that. I don't like that AI does that to me. What else? Toy stores, of course. Toys R Us. So what should I Google? Like, what search terms should I use in order to find like a proper abandoned toy stores? No, creepy stores. Uh, old stores. Is that something? No. 19th cent stores. How about that? Now we're getting somewhere. Hmm. No. I'm just clicking around right now. I mean, these are not creepy. Can't really. It doesn't really ring the right bells for me, or like, I'm not sure if that's the correct word. What else? Let's do this. Let's just look for layers of fear, see if we can find some inspiration. All right. Have we entered ads? No. Twitch is sometimes a bit slow on that. I've been notified that we have entered, kind of like starting soon, but it's been starting soon for like a minute. Um, let's grab this one. I kind of like the lighting of it. What else? Ooh, look at this one. All right. I'm grabbing that. There's something about it if we replace those bodies with toys instead. So what else? I mean, we do have this. Not really what I'm after though. Creepy? Yeah. But not what I'm after. Oh, this one. Look at this one. Yeah, we need that. And this is something that inspired me. Oh, there we go. We got some ads. All right. I'm going to throw up my ads again. Where are you? Oh, there you go. Perfect. It's the last of my coffee. Oh, well. It is what it is. Yeah, I'll mention that. So one thing that inspired me, I'm going to have to repeat myself after the ads, I guess. is the idea of having this artistic room where you come back to as you progress through the game. I'm gonna grab that. It's just all about inspiration right now. Look at this, though. Dude, so cool. Oh, Layers of Fear for VR. That's creepy. That's probably the last thing I want to do, play horror games in VR. What else? All right, there we go. Ah, it works. Right. So I mentioned this during the ad. I like the idea of having a hub because, as far as I can tell from the layer of fear stuff, is that you will be returning to this kind of artistic. It's not the right word. There's a name for these types of rooms for where artists paint. Doesn't really matter. It's that room. This room they return to. Players return to it, right? And I kind of like that idea. And I'd like to incorporate that somehow. You have this thing. I'm just gonna grab that because I like the god rays and the colors. Colors are nice. What else do we have? That is creepy. You know what? For now, we're just being inspired, and I'm inspired. What else do we have? What is this Victorian era type of stuff? Layers of Fear, is that being played out in the Victorian era? Is that what I'm gathering? Layers of Fear. Mm. So one thing I like with this one, though, I'm just gonna grab it, is the idea of having whatever's been created, in this case, a painting, kind of like taking a peek. It kind of feels like that, right? She's taking a look at you from behind these cloths, right? Yeah, I like that. What else can we do? This is weird. Let's go with Shrill. How you doing? It's been a while. What you been up to? What are we doing here? I am just gathering reference images because I want to update a old project, an old hologram project, and yeah, just right now I'm just gathering reference images. Aront, how you doing? Welcome. So what you been up to, Shrill? Like I said, it's been a while since I saw you last time. What else can we do? All right. How about this? You two just joined, and I've done this thing. I've just brainstormed quite a bit more since last time, and I'm leaning towards a toy store. This is going to be the setting. A toy store where you have a artist, a toy maker, and he's alone. He doesn't have family because of his artistic endeavors and like obsessions. He's been like so engrossed into his toy making that he's now alone. So he might be actually, that's now that it hit me, he might be creating his family by toys. Kind of Pinocchio-esque, right? Lol, Aaron. Maybe I need to put in a between Aaron and TTV. Oh, yeah, you might. You might have to, yeah. It's an opinion, but the whole toy thing has been done to death at this point. Yeah, yeah, I see you. I see what you're saying. It just hits the right buttons for me, if that makes sense. But if you have something, you feel like, you know, I'd love to see a horror game in this setting. I'm open to it. It just kind of flows naturally for me. So we're not at the point to hit the delete key on your project. No, no, we're not. But who knows? Maybe you never know when that's going to happen, right? It's either going to be tomorrow or it's going to be in 2 years. I don't know. I would take the thing you said, but make it a non-toy or robot or something. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, we are still in the brainstorming phase of everything, so we might pivot. The thing is, I just gathered a ton of stuff. Not that I committed to it, but it is something I like. I do love the idea of these old toys. Let's see if I can find them. Uh, where are they? I'm just going to do this. Let's do an open. So I found these things, right? Uh, Not telling you what to do, what to like. No, that's fair. I mean, it's a good thing to challenge me on these things because otherwise I would just kind of go into it. It's just with games like Puppet Playground, yeah, Bendy, FNAF, countless of other games might get lost in the craziness. True, but I think you can kind of get away with. So, like for example, Bendy, very specific art style, right? Like the ink, Disney-esque things. Then you have Poppy. Poppy, sure, leans into the uncanny toys, but still stylized. It's still modern esque. I want to go even further back, like to these types of things. And I know dolls has been done before, but I can't, for the sake of it, point to a game that goes into this style of toy stores. Does that make sense? Haven't seen mannequin horror games yet. There are existing mannequin horror games, but yeah, there's less of them. The Toy Story scene has been done a lot. It has been done a lot. I know that. I know, but at the same time, I feel like if you go to the horror genre, everything has been done, right? I personally can't think of anything that hasn't been done in horror. I'm way too late. Yeah, I'm listening. Then we have this thing, which is just the smile just creeps me out. Too modern for my taste, but just the idea of having something look at you with that smile kind of creeps me out. Then these things. Look with this thing though. But why don't you make the guy making these things an inventor? Um, so the thing is, what should he invent, and why is it creepy? That's kind of the thing. It just and like, it could be laboratory stuff, it could be inventor stuff. Yeah, I don't know. There's mannequin horror, just not in main story. True, true. I mean, many of them just have mannequins pop up, but it's not the main story. That's fair enough. Then that way you're not limited to just a toy vibe. It's just like toys are so creepy to me. I just they creep me out, especially these old ones. But yeah, it has been done. I agree with that. It has. Just also crazy scary, right? And then think of this. I've grabbed this one for just purely for the atmosphere. Like it doesn't have to be these types of toys. I personally feel like these are way too done. This type of doll with the like the gauche, like the hits to the head and everything like that. But you have the green colorish, you have the dark values. Everything feels I, depressing is the best way I can think of it. You can make him obsessed, like you said, yeah, but he loses his mind and makes amalgamations of human toys with like 3 14 legs, arms, gets freaky with it. Yeah, the one thing I'd like to stay away when it comes to that, it is a scary like setting. I agree with that. I just feel like it goes into a area I'm just going to call extreme, where you have this super manical man who's just like, you know what? I don't care anymore. Let's just make things with 14 legs. It just becomes too. I can't find a word for it. Too much madness. I'd like the more subtle kind of madness, where you feel like this guy feels like he could be my neighbor, kind of feeling. You wanted to make a screamers type of game. Screamers. What is screamers? What is screamers? Oh. Ugh. Wait, is this part of it? Is this from Screamers, or did I just pick something? A Canadian American Japanese sci-fi fiction game. Or God damn, that's a mouthful. There's one thing that freaked me out about it wasn't, but it wasn't a horror game. A crazy good movie. All right. So, Aaron, what's the thing that's been creeping you out? Because that's so one thing I need to know, or at least look more into this kind of what people feel is scary. I've had most of my stuff is comes from like watching people play games, or I'm not really a movie buff, so I don't really watch a lot of movies. Really don't really, it doesn't hit me the right way. Horror movies, but games, that's a different thing. Uh, but I need to play more, I guess. And that's the worst part. I don't want to play horror games. I like watching horror games. I like watching people being scared, but I don't like playing them. Does does that make sense? Is that weird? I don't know. All right, this is uncanny though. That's creepy. But it's also one of those creepiness for me that goes over the top. I think I would like to have more subtle, feeling like it could actually happen to you kind of feeling. This Yeah, scary, but you would never say, "Yeah, if I walk out tomorrow, I'll see something like this." Of course, you're not gonna see a walking doll anytime soon, but I like the idea of having a subtle scare where the doll kind of tips over, or just all of a sudden is standing behind you. I don't know. It started out as a robot that looks like a kid with a teddy bear. Ooh. And they call out, "Mommy, mommy, I need help," to lure people. Then they eat them. Oh, yeah. That is creepy. I agree with that. Let's see. Uh, what else? Layers of Fear. I love that. That's one of my inspiration sources to this because okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. If you know about more about Layers of Fear than I do, it feels like the story is about a artist whose family or wife in this case, maybe even child, ends up in an accident. She becomes deformed, and the husband takes this really bad, really poorly, and starts drinking. And you can see his madness, or the family's madness, or the madness in the house, progress through pictures and a room that evolves as you collect more stuff. Is that how it goes? I think it is, right? Then when VR first came out, this guy made a cyberpunk game where the digital 3D proto scan people even to their imperfection on their skin. Then they freaked me out. Sure, yeah, is when you was close to an NPC that would make you look at you, and if you put a line in their eyes, the pupils, the black things in the eyes would retract. Ooh, yeah, that's scary. So I'm standing. My real person viewer staring at me, and their eyes just open look at me. Oh god, I hate that. I hate it. It was called Technolust. 19. No, okay. Yeah, that sounds weird. But you know what? I'm gonna search, but just in case, I'm gonna do it on the other monitor, just in case. Technolust VR, because there might be other games that are way too close in name. Um, if that makes sense. I have a saw, and they move under the sand. When they get on you, they turn. Ooh, get on the target. They scream. Ugh. That's creepy. All right, perfect. Let's do that. Yeah, Aaron, I'm just being overly cautious. Just the word lust could do something. It looks like that is Jack, isn't it? Isn't that Jacksepticeye? Looks like him. Just being cautious. But this looks cool. Some cool lighting on these. Just think you're outside and you heard going on the ground, and you know you're going to die. Yeah, hearing a scream and knowing, yeah, I'm dead. Yeah, that's creepy. Uh, all right, looks like it's a cool game. The atmosphere is a bit more futuristic than I like, so as a reference, I might not go with this one, but there are some cool images. This lighting though is kind of badass. But by the way, is that Jack? That is Jack. It's an old game though, old version of Jack. But yeah, I'm gonna save it for future ref. See what we can do with it. Look at the NPCs. Uh, let's see. Oh god, all of this. All right, let's do this instead. Open image, new tab. Is this one of the NPCs? Real person scanned in. Wait, have I missed something? Like, are they actually scanning the player, or is someone they've scanned someone in real life and added it to the game? Is that what you're saying? No, real people scan them. Oh, okay. That could be a really creepy concept. Yeah. To the point, if there's a scar on their face, it's in the game. Oh, there you go. Ooh. Shouty, how you doing? Sorry about I missed your stuff earlier. I had some technical issues with YouTube chat. YouTube does this thing. There's a lot of stuff I like with YouTube streaming. There is quite a lot. But one thing they do, which is really weird, is that they offer like a unique chat each time. So I have to copy the URL for the chat and go to OBS and add it to like a custom window. And then I can see YouTube chat in OBS, which is really weird. What's this on my screen? We're looking at a game recommended by Aaron on over on Twitch. It's called Technolust, which is the VR game, and we're looking at this NPC, which is apparently a scanned real human, if I got that right. So we're kind of looking at this like as a reference thing for the horror game I'm making, and it's kind of creepy. He's doing a new game that's a cyberpunk firm noir detective game. Okay, that could be cool. Stream element live fixes that problem. Okay. I need to look at stream elements then. Let's make a note of that somewhere. There we go. I have the noted down. Your VA chat in your Discord can't. You can't share stuff on my Discord. That is unfortunate. Uh, let's see. I can't do it. Okay, that's unfortunate. It might be the role that doesn't have the right to do that. I'll have a look at that after, Aaron. Can't share screen the voice chat. Okay, that's weird. I didn't realize that was the thing. I'll have a look at it. And it comes with multi-streaming and links all chats together. All right, cool. So the thing, although I don't have to worry about it because I'm not showing it on screen, but I think Twitch added a rule that you can't have, at least on screen, both YouTube and Twitch at the same time, right? I didn't know was streaming. Someone's like VC, where share screen. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I would love to see people kind of start having like sharing stuff on voice chat and everything like that. So definitely gonna fix that. Shaidu, how much progress have you made? Oh, you also said something else. YouTube also have the issue with its stream key, and every time we have to plug in the key before streaming, and it expires in the middle sometimes. I haven't experienced that part. That sucks. Stream key though, I tend to use the reuse settings, which hasn't been a problem for me yet. But yeah, they really. I would love to YouTube for YouTube to look more into what you call it, like life improvement stuff, right? That would be nice. And back to the progress part. I'd say it's been slow, but I've made progress. We've done this thing, mostly me just writing down ideas. And one idea I'm looking at right now, I'm not sure if you were here when I talked about it last time, but I can go through it again because I kind of like the idea of it, is that you have a toy store back in the 19th century. So a lot of uncanny stuff. And you have an artist who has gone not necessarily mad, but he's lonely because of his artistic obsessions. He's been he didn't create his own family. He spent all his time with his dolls, and in the end, he realized, "Hey, I'm too old now to start a family, so I need to create my own." It's kind of Pinocchio-esque. I understand that, and a few good points by Twitch chat is that it's been done before. Absolutely has. It's just that I feel like there's no setting right now that I feel like hasn't been done multiple times. So I'm feeling maybe I should just pick one I feel really passionate about instead of what others might like. I don't know. It's a tough balance. They say they don't want to link uh, unmoderated chats or in-game chat on stream. I don't know if they changed that rule. Right. I think yeah, that's definitely something. And also, they specified that they want the Twitch streamer to focus and prioritize Twitch chat or Twitch viewers, right? And if you have a mix of them, they are no longer prioritized. I think that was the definition. It's your choice at the end of the day. True. It is my it is my choice. Well, I do like the input though, because I might get stuck in an idea and don't realize that it's actually kind of boring. It's still early in the morning for me, so I don't know. As it stands, though, I'm still in pre-production, so we could change this tomorrow. I don't know. It's just maybe where I'm leaning to right now, if that makes sense. So they did change it. Did they? Or are you? If they did change it, that would be nice because I've been considering adding chat to the screen to the stream, right? I need to do that, otherwise I'm gonna forget it. Where is it? There you go. But at the same time, I kind of like this openness where you don't have to worry about looking at chat uh, or something. Early in the morning, it's 7:19 for me. It's been up since 4 a.m. There you go. Yeah, I woke up at 5 a.m. My time. So I'm running on like 3 or 4 hours and only coffee. Haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm kind of hungry. So do you know ratio of what is that? Is the AO A1 A paper is same? Ooh, what is that? Paper is the same. It's 1 to the ratio of the square root of 2, but A0 has the area of a 1 meter square. No, I did not know that. Never thought of it before. It's kind of fascinating, to be honest. 12:49. It's afternoon, so you've had lunch perhaps then. Where it's very common here in Sweden and many other European countries, I'd say, to have lunch at 12. What else? You cannot display or merge chat. There you go. Combining YouTube Twitter on your Twitch stream. But I can have it like for myself, right? Because no one can see it, so no one needs to kind of know. You can display YouTube and Twitch chat on your stream. Really? I think we have like contradictions here. I've seen people. I know that what's his name, Luke, a big YouTube. It's more on YouTube, I guess, not as much on Twitch. But I know it was a thing a few months back or last year where people said that they didn't want people to combine word chat, at least if they were primarily on Twitch, I think. They changed the rules. Yeah, I think they did. I think Trail is correct on this one. We might have to double check though. Still haven't eaten anything? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I definitely need to eat. I'm not sure what to eat though. I usually go for like Greek yogurt and some berries in the morning. Was the only rule I know of is if you wasn't dual streaming, is an anywhere VODs you have to wait 24 hours before putting it on YouTube. Yeah, I might have to double check because I feel like the rules might be like yeah, I need to look it up. But I'm not sure I do want to show chat like directly on screen though. I'd like it what it is like now. But yeah. Other streamers do combine chat? Yes. It's similar to how, as I'm doing right now, playing music. I'm not supposed to play music because there's a risk of being struck, copyright struck. But people do it anyway because Twitch doesn't really enforce the rules that hard. And also, I'm guessing many of those who merge are on YouTube side. They don't have the same rules. Before it was okay, they just did not want unmoderated combine chats. Yeah, but in a way, we are breaking the rules now because we meet the we not be meant to be talking about Twitch rules on stream. We're not meant to be talking about Twitch rules on stream? Really? I'm pretty sure Twitch is fine with that, right? I've seen many streamers do it. Maybe again, back to they don't enforce it. I don't know. It's fine if I don't put stream on chat. Yeah. I feel whenever I watch a stream, like on my phone or whatever, the chat is always there either way. Like I can still see chat, so I don't feel like it's necessary to have them on screen at the same time. It just becomes double chat, right? Not if you're affiliate, really. You're not allowed to talk about Twitch rules on stream if you're affiliate. You're probably right. I will be a bit hesitant though because I've seen streamers that I'm 100% sure are affiliate with streams talk about Twitch rules. Um, Affiliate with Twitch, not stream Twitch. So I don't know. We are generally allowed to talk about and community guidelines on stream, discuss them for educational purposes. Exactly, yeah. However, content that promotes, encourages, glorifies violations of these rules, that makes sense. Yeah. Definitely, of course, you shouldn't violate TOS and follow and be respectful of the platform, right? Of course, definitely. In Batman Dark Knight, Joker said the rules are meant to be are made to be broken. Yes, he does. Can't remember if that is the exact phrasing, but yeah. Or he likes to break them. He thinks the rules are for chumps, if that makes sense. It's a good discussion, though. It gives me a few ideas, not necessarily for the game, but for the stream. And also, thank you, Aaron, for pointing out the discourse thing. And I'll have a look at it because that makes no sense. I don't know why I've put on that restriction. Should be allowed to show stuff. What else, though? I'm back to the game now. So if let's put it this way, I'm gonna have the toy store, toy maker idea as my favorite right now, but I shouldn't be stuck to it. But what else? What else could we look at? I think I want to avoid futuristic stuff, and because mostly I feel like there's more reference stuff for me, and it's more uncanny stuff in the past, if that makes sense. At least that's a feeling I have. So what else could be done? What else is a setting that could be scary that hasn't been done, or not as much at least, hasn't been done as much? Uh, I mean, one thought is sewers. You can be down there and walk around, but sewers is not a uncommon thing in video games. What else? Factories. Factories is always fun, but then again, that's been done before. But perhaps we can make a twist on factories. I can add that to this sketch, whatever you want to call it. Let's see. Come on. There we go. Let's see. Zoom in. Or is it settings, settings, settings? I have sewers factories. That's the thing I wanted. Ooh, what happens? What's happening? Come on. There we go. I feel like I'm getting affected by dementia. Most of my childhood memories and recent past years' memories become foggy as it's disappearing. I think that's a common feeling, to be honest. The older you get, the more information you need to store in your mind, right? And that could be hard. I can barely remember my like yesterday. So, but that might just be me. The one thing that is the affiliate that make me talk about anything in there is breaks Twitch rule is if you're affiliate, they can decide to ban you because of it. They can ban you for talking shit about rules. I guess they could. I mean, it's still their company, right? It's unfair, but I guess they could. I mean, we should be able to be critical. At least that would be ideal. They can ban you just because, yeah, you're on the payroll. You're an employee at that point. Is there a native Swedish language? Yes, there is. And the funny thing, it is called Swedish. Yes. It's a branch of the Germanic language, I believe, which is the family language of both Germany and I'm not sure if it's Italian is part of that family. I don't think it is, but Germanic and English and Swedish are from the same family. If I'm not throwing out fake news or fake facts. But yep, Swedish. That's the word for it. Uh, let's see. Nope. There we go. All right. So the idea of a factory could be interesting. Can I? Wait. I thought Twitch renewed my snooze button each stream. Don't they? Apparently not. That sucks. But what if we explore the idea of a factory? That's not the one. There we go. Because the idea of having like an old factory is kind of interesting too. All right. How can you increase your vocabulary? Um, I'm assuming you want to increase your English vocabulary. Is that the thing? If so, watching someone speaking that language, like that language you're interested in, and then take notice of words that you don't know what they mean, and then look it up. And once you looked it up, start trying to use it as much as possible, because then that's the best way to kind of have it get stuck. I mean, for me, learning English, for example, first of all, it was part of the basic education in Sweden. I've studied it since I was 9 years old. But I also, when I was really young, watched a lot of a channel called Cartoon Network, which is an American cartoon focused channel, and I learned a lot of American English from that. They have it just for safety reasons. Yeah, a lot of those rules are like that. People or companies don't really enforce the rule, but should they end up in some legal issues, they can say, "Hey, yeah, we do have that rule, so it's just a safety precaution." Yeah, exactly. And we're going to have some ads in a minute or half a minute. And I'm just going to stretch my legs during that time. I don't have a lot left on the stream, like 20 minutes. So let's make it count. So what is a good factory setting? I'm thinking like an old iron smelting factory could be interesting, right? What else? I thought we were doing a 24-hour stream. Please don't tell me there's something going. I've written that somewhere, but no, definitely no. I would have to take a break from my work. I could lose a lot of money. If you give me, if someone donated, let's say that 1,500 Swedish kroners, then I would think about it. Because a ton of words to use for expressing our feelings. I agree. All right, so shauri, shauri, right? Yeah. So here's my recommendation then. If you know a word, let's say I can't think of them right now, but there's always a synonym to that word, meaning it's a different word, but it means the same or something very similar. So what you do is, if you have a word you like, we do have some ads, so I'm just going to tell you this. So if you have a word you like and want to know a different word for that uh, word, if that makes sense, then you can Google synonyms and that word. So, like for example, let's say you want to know different word for anger. Well, go to Google, type anger and synonyms, and you should be given an example of a different word that means anger, if that makes sense. Do you got the 24-hour Twitch flu? You need to call in sick. Yeah. But right now, I need to stretch my legs. So I'll be back in a minute. All right, got another few seconds left on the ads. Okay, there you go, and that's gone. Perfect. Uh, I don't know how people learn 4 to 5 languages in their lives. Uh, I'd say that's very uncommon. I know 2 languages, and I can understand 2 more because they're very close to Swedish, like Norwegian and Danish. Although Danish is kind of hard, but they are both very close to Swedish, so we could technically, in theory, communicate using our own native languages. How people learn 4 to 5 languages, I would say they make it their full-time thing. Just, hey, I want to learn this language. I spend multiple hours every day on learning that language. Speaking a language is probably the most important part. To just find someone who speaks the language you want to learn and try to communicate them with them in that language. So synonyms, antonyms, I did learn back in school days. Now I'm forgetting them. I have to revisit and revise them. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And also, I mean, it comes down to how far you want to go. Do you want to learn as many language or words in English or in any language that you want? Like, if you want to do that, definitely do it. Like, if you want to have a casual, communicative vocabulary, just looking at your grammar and the words you're using, you're fine. But if you want to take it a step further, yeah, then you would have to sit down and study. That's the thing. Learning, it's a thing. Unfortunately, we're never done learning. All right, so give me a few more ideas. What is a factory that could be nice or cool? I think iron smelting could be nice because you would have a lot of molten iron, reddish colors that could be cool, right? But what else? What type of factories could be nice? I mean, I guess this doesn't really matter. Could it be abandoned factories? See if we can spell this time. Abandoned. I can't spell it. Abandoned. I don't care. Abandoned. There we go. I know which word it is. I mean, heavy machinery is really cool. I don't even know if I can read that. Like the idea of walking around near these really old and weird machines that people rarely see, and also the size of them. But what would be the scariness of it? What is it that makes it scary? Is it just because it's abandoned and it's eerie? I don't want this. I don't want the game to become a walking simulator. There needs to be things happening. But I do think what could potentially happen if you have something like a large oven, not it's not the right word, is it? Not furnace. That's the word I'm looking for. You could have that spewing fire at you at times, as if there's still things in this perhaps abandoned factory. That could be cool. I mean, I think the idea of heavy machinery, hot melting iron is probably what interests me the most to the idea of a factory. Have did you study English like sentence, noun, pronouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, conjunctions, etc., etc.? Yes, of course. That was definitely part of it. Do I remember anything of it? No. I go by feeling nowadays, like instinct kind of thing. And I do try every now and then to look up old rules that I don't remember, like the Oxford comma. I'm still struggling with that. I can't tell you if it's after verb or at the end of said. I can't really tell you what the rule is all about, but yeah. And have I heard about Zashi Thardor? Is that how you spell it? His English vocabulary is famous. Oh, really? Put some wild creatures in the game. Okay. Hmm. I think we could do some creatures or some animals. The theme or the feeling I want to go for is less. Not sure about the word for this, but I don't want to. I don't think I want to add something like a fantasy figure, like a walking zombie or a disfigured creature of some kind. I don't think I want to do that. I might want to imply that could be something, but having animals like rats, bats, pigeons scare the player every now and then, that could be interesting. Spiders, of course, or insects in general, could always be something. Wild creatures, though. What else could it be? I mean, it could be interesting just to have a fox running around, um, if there's an abandoned factor in this case. But that would be like a very, very short environment storytelling thing. Like it's telling you what has happened, giving you tidbits to what's happened into this factory. Oh, there's a fox here, which means it emphasizes the idea of this being an abandoned factory, for example. Otherwise, it would be weird. If it's a still working factory and all of a sudden there's a fox or a rabbit, that would be weird, I think. Doesn't make sense. But if it's abandoned and you have this big open floor with grass and greeneries that has been taking over the factory, and all of a sudden there's a rabbit or there's a fox, yeah, it could be something. I used to scare by tense topics in English when I was 13, 14. I used to scare by tenses when you were 13, 14. Okay. Yeah. Rats, bats, insects. Yeah. I'll probably add that. It will have like a secondary or tertiary importance, but it will give some storytelling to it, definitely. Spiders and snakes. Yeah. The thing, though, and I need to keep this in mind when I do this brainstorming stuff. Well, maybe not during the brainstorming, but eventually, uh, adding all of these things to the project will be time consuming, resource heavy, because what just saying, hey, just add this, yeah, well, it's not that easy, unfortunately, because creating a snake, for example, takes time. And if it's just for a few minutes or not even that, maybe it's not worth the time. But definitely keeping it in mind and not ruling it out yet. It's probably what I'm not going to rule it out if I add it like that. And probably insects could probably be added. That could be simple enough, like having a sprite just run around bits. So, all right. So, as of now, let's summarize a bit. I think the toy store still, I think that's where I want to go. Might change my mind later today or by tomorrow. Who knows? But the idea of a factory, and maybe you're kind of something like a steward of that factory. I'm not sure if that's the correct word. Like someone who, and you're not a janitor, and you're not necessarily like a guard. A steward would be someone who has the responsibility of taking care of the facilities. I think that is the definition of a steward, someone who cares for the facilities. So you can be, let's just write that down. A steward, maybe a janitor, or maybe you have the night shift, common stuff. I'm just gonna write that down. Night shift. We do need a reason to why you're there as the player, right? Use the people stuff which they upload for free. True, I could do that, absolutely, and I probably will to some extent. At least initially, I can use free stuff to kind of populate the area. But that said, I might not like what the free stuff looks like. They might not fit the theme. They might not move the way I want. But definitely, I should look up free stuff and maybe even consider buying slightly cheaper assets, because although it might cost me in the moment, I might save 30, 40, maybe hundreds of hours, depending on the complexity of stuff, and that could be worth the money. So absolutely, it is part of it. Definitely. What else? What else makes factories interesting? Other than heavy machineries, like the iron smelting stuff, you have gases. Could be interesting. I mean, the chemicals. That's terrible. Right? Factory chemicals could be interesting, couldn't it? Like playing with the idea that something broke and now there's poisonous gas running around. That could be interesting. There's one mechanic I like from the game Get the Fuck Out. Or sorry for my language, but that's actually what the game is called, GTFO. And there's a mechanic where you have this fog, volumetric fog, and you could kind of displace it or move it away from you by using specific machinery. And if you don't do that, you can't see. So you're not dying, but it's prohibiting you from see a certain distance away from you. And if you can't see the creature that you're trying to hide from, then yeah. A jester like it from Pennywise. Ooh. I'm not going to rule it out, but we're back to that supernatural weird thing again. I'm leaning away from that, but it is a scary guy. And also the last actor who plays it in the newer movies, he's actually a Swede. He's from Sweden. Skarsgård, I believe his name is. It's a family of actors. Right. Where are we? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. How about that? There you go. Gonna move that to the side. Do this. Right. Okay. So it's almost 8:50 for me, and I have 10 minutes to eat and get ready for my actual job. So I'm gonna have to call it here. Everyone, thank you for showing up. I think we made decent progress. Might have to do another brainstorming stream on Monday, but I'm gonna try and summarize everything and get a more clear idea and create GDD over the weekend. You know chemistry? There you go. That might have some questions for you in the future. Like what type of gas will be interesting to use for certain uh, dangers and elements and things like that. Yeah. But I need to end it here. Abrupt as always. But that is the way it is. So thank you all for showing up. Let's see if we can't pass you on to someone else. Or do I have the time for that? I might not have the time for that because I don't want to. I don't have the time to just be chatty with them a bit. I usually try to at least spend a few minutes chatting in their chat when I throw people on them. So, but anyway, I'm going to do this. Let's do this music, turn that off for just a second. And everyone, again, thank you for showing up. This is a blast, and I will see you all on Monday, the same time. So 6 a.m. on Monday. So everyone, thank you all. Have a good day. Bye bye.